This episode is brought to you by O2, the official recovery drink of the Noble CrossFit Games. For more information, you can use the QR code or you can click the link in the show notes below.
What's happening, everybody? I'm JP Perlmutter from Brick CrossFit and CrossFit Home Office, and I'm here with the best hour of their day crew.
We're going to find out all about how you can make your affiliate better by downloading the affiliate playbook and hearing from some of the best minds in the industry.
Yeah, and you're going to learn about why it's the best time to be an affiliate ever.
Stick around. There's plenty of important information in this one.
And at some point, those best minds will show up.
Welcome to the best hour of their day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez.
And me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
As both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better
boxes.
boxes. Welcome to
The best hour of your day.
We have a very special guest today, JP Perlmutter. You may recognize him. You've been on the cover of many magazines. I say that in all seriousness, but you are the owner of Brick CrossFit. People recognize you from that, as well as your OnlyFans page.
Right? Probably more for that.
And maybe most prominently, the affiliate playbook. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for
And
having
I
me.
appreciate, this is very rare.
Somebody else is as short
Someone else is about my height. Yeah.
That we get to see eye to eye.
Eye to eye. Eye to eye. So we've got JP on the show because we're here to talk about CrossFit. And what better person to talk about CrossFit with than someone really trying to help the affiliates like us?
Yeah, affiliate owner, long-time affiliate. How long have you?
13 years.
Yeah, so longer than I have. And then built the playbook, So if you have not checked out the playbook, you should check out the playbook for people who are wondering.
Where can they grab it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They can get to crossfit.com/ I think it's affiliate tools. Go in, log in with their CFID, unique username and password. Scroll down to playbook, open it on up, and as long as you're an affiliate in good standing, it's there for you to use as you wish. I do want to clarify that I did have a great hand in the development of the playbook, but there are many behind me that need to be credited in its construction.
Well, prior to hitting record,
I was the lead general contractor, but there were many.
Nice. I know what that job
prior
is.
to hitting record, you
Read between the lines.
said, no one helped me. I did, quote unquote, I did this on my own.
All by myself. When the mic was off,
I
hand
was like,
typed it.
listen, anybody who tells you otherwise is lying to you.
But you had a full team backing you, of course you did, because it's fantastic. It's robust, and it truly helps.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, we had a great assistance from affiliate owners across the globe who've had great success. And one thing we did is we made sure to not measure success by just sheer membership numbers, but by time and energy involved in the community and in their local communities, their impact on the communities, as well as track records of success of implementing certain systems and protocols and procedures, and then being able to utilize those and translate them into a more tools, as we always say, over rules approach.
I do want to bring to note that neither of us were asked to participate in those
think that's weird.
discussions.
I think
do
that's
think it's a
weird.
little
By
odd.
design.
I got an
By
email. I
design.
was just busy.
By design.
I'll
we
check
talked
my
about
spam folder later. Maybe it's sitting there.
Totally intentional.
No, but I do think so. We wanted to come chat with you. We're in Tennessee, but we wanted to chat so a lot of initiatives going on specifically around the affiliate development space, right within the ecosystem of CrossFit Home Office specifically. So we wanted to kind of pick your brain, things that you have been working on over the past 18 months, 2 years, and then maybe some things that we can be looking forward to. I don't know if we can talk about some of the stuff we were talking about at the games, but good time to be an affiliate. We've talked about it before. I'm not coming off of that stance, and I think it's only going to get better. But kind of give us a peek behind the curtain, like home office stuff that are working on that's going to be beneficial for affiliates specifically.
Yeah, so without coming off like disingenuous, I do want to be authentic and organic, is that I can stand behind the idea that not just myself, but many of the team members that are within the gym's organization are all either long-term CrossFitters or have at some point in their career been a CrossFit owner or an operator to some degree, which to me lends itself to having that type of feeling of fellow individuals that have had boots on ground, right? They understand the grind of what the reality is and not just coming off like textbook concepts.
Right.
And so behind the scenes with those type of minds, everything we're doing day in and day out is always driven by how will this impact affiliates, right? And not just new or prospective affiliates, but what can we do for the existing affiliate marketplace to really try to drive value into their hands so that they can make a difference in their little localized bubble of a business, right? Because that's really what's most important.
Right.
What can we do for that affiliate owner in Omaha, Nebraska, right? Or in Madison, Wisconsin, or in Des Moines, Idaho, or Iowa, wherever Des Moines is.
Yeah.
You know, it's over there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
somewhere.
myself.
It's
It
still
does start
there.
with an I. It does start with an I, though. Yeah.
And the idea is, what can we do to produce the tools necessary for them to uniquely drive into their business and see impact, whether it's to help save them time, to drive more revenue into their business, or to lower their overall just operating expenses.
Were those some of the big? So when you guys come in, you're like, hey, affiliates need help. We're going to start providing that. What were some of the big ticket pain points that you guys got? Were those some of the big ones? You're like, hey, what do affiliates need? We need.
That's right. Yeah. And so, and that's a great point. And to do that, it wasn't just about like looking to me or looking to successful operators like you. It's like, let's go out there and also find the ones that are in the most pain.
Right.
Right. Because sometimes inherently the business charisma of someone who's doing well can't always be translated to paper. It's like that X factor. I don't know what I do. It just seems to work.
Right.
So, but when you're having pain points, you generally know what hurts and you want to go uncover and discover what that is. And then from there, we could send it out to operators across the board and the globe and say, how are you solving for this?
Right.
And then what's pretty interesting is, although everyone, because we do have like alpha egos as operators and owners, everybody says, well, my way is unique. But once you sort them all and you put them all out on the table,
They're the same.
Yeah, you start to see that there's a commonality, and then you can actually start to define what they thought was the X factor. And you go, no, there are actual ingredients to how we make this work and how we solve.
Yeah. There's principles, right? So like, hey, with regard to have good service, good business, right? You want to have both of those. How you do that, you can do that a lot of different ways. Sales process would be another good example. How do you answer the phone? How do you present prices? There's a general format for that. Outside of that, who are we talking about? Where are they? What is their threshold for sales? Like, are there other gyms around? Like, all that stuff factors in, and teaching them, hey, this is kind of the rules of the game, but you can kind of create your own plays, if you will.
Right.
But you still got to abide by the rules, right? You can't make up random shit.
And that's a perfect example. You and I own and operate completely different affiliates,
Very different.
right?
Yep.
Very different affiliates, but they're successful. And without even knowing what your systems and procedures are, just even hearing you riff that, I go, wow, he just checked 10 of the 10 boxes.
Right, there's my point.
And they could all happen in a completely different order, but they happened. Right?
Fundamental principles.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, and that's really the way that we teach it in Affiliate U. And it, people, they're like, hey, give me the format, give me the exact checklist. And I'm not giving you that because it might not work. How do you do it? What does your onboard look like? How many people do you have? What's your price point? Are you going to bundle those? Are you going to sell them separately? And then unpacking that, say, well, here's the problem that you have to solve. Here's all of the different variables. We may use some of them. We may not use the rest of them. Or we may bring those back in later when you get to the next season of this thing. And now we'll have to level up because you have higher throughput, you have more staff members, you have all of that stuff. And now we can add the third or fourth piece to this as you continue to grow moving forward. That's what I think is important. And I think everybody's looking for, like, this is the way. We all know that being CrossFitters, you can get fit doing a lot of different variations of constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. It's not just like, hey, you got to do triplets and couplets on Monday, Tuesday. You got to lift heavy on Wednesday. You got to go long Thursday, Friday. Nope. Mix them up. They all work.
That's right. And what is the underlying commonality of all of that is the effort to do the work. And so, like, my message, if I take my home office hat on and if I were to go into the mentor hat or just the coach hat, is you still have to do the work. So even if someone gives you all the programming for the couplets and triplets and going long on Fridays, it still requires you to show up to the gym, right, and do your proper preparation. And some, right, would take just the athlete concept or member concept. Some will do the proper mobility, some won't, and then they'll get hurt and then have to take a few weeks off. And you can kind of use those analogies as, like, some owner-operators will come in, they'll try something, it won't work right away, which is the equivalent of, like, getting hurt. It hurt their ego or emotions, and then they won't do the rest, or they fall off track. And we've just find that it's that same mentality. Like, if you think, so, like, and this is more of a message to, like, owner-operators out there, the same intensity, commitment you had to your training and you have to your CrossFit education is what you need to the business and operational side. You need that same level of commitment to learn and educate yourself, how to be a good leader, how to continue to stay organized and motivated, how to be able to communicate with larger groups of people and not be so niched. And that's really where that key point is, where we hope, and obviously with individuals like yourselves, drive and continue to drive that message. It might sound different, but it's really all the same.
It's exactly the same thing. I mean, the same thing when a member comes into your gym, they want the result quickly instead of being like, well, look, this is a 1 to 2 year journey of you completely relearning how to use your body and what your relationship with fitness and nutrition and all of that. They show up thinking like, well, can we do this in 90 days? Like summer's coming up. I got to squeeze in this bikini. It's like, I get that. I respect that. And there's immediate low hanging fruit to help you make some progress. But the real thing to make this who you are and get you the long-standing result, it's going to take a while for you to really go through that. And that's that expectation, I think, that is the other side of this coin, because it's understanding that this is a long game. And if you really want to win it, it's not about the immediate tactic or the shortcut or the silver bullet. It's understanding those fundamental principles, running them through your filter as a business owner in your community and your experience and all these different factors, and then doing the work long enough for you to actually figure one out, next one out, layer it over time until you understand the whole picture. And that expectation, I think, is lost on a lot of people. And we're trying to fix that. Because if you can just get someone to buy in and say, like, it's going to get better fast to some degree, like some of these things we can get quickly, it's going to start feeling better, but understanding that this is a longer track that we're on, and saying, look, you'll get there. Like, I promise you, you will get there. If you follow these fundamental principles over time, you're not going to lose 50 pounds in 90 days. You would never say that to a new member coming in too. It's like, is this effective? Extremely, right? Is this going to be fun? Totally. But it's not 90 days. It's 2 years or whatever the journey is relative to where they are.
Right. And that makes a good point, because that too is something that we, and I say I as an affiliate owner, can fall into traps, marketing gimmicks and traps of how can we drive more leads in a period of 30 days, get you, 100 leads in 100 days. And we all know that that's same thing as a similar gimmick of a trap of trying to squeeze into the bikini, although I probably could in 90 days, but it is difficult.
You can do it right now, for being honest.
I'll help you squeeze in the bikini.
I appreciate that. Is that that's a short term, right? And that we know that we've seen that already. I know as owners, we've seen that. We've seen these marketing gimmicks, the quick fix concepts get in there, driving leads in. You don't have any of the systems and operations established to even capture, nurture, and convert those leads. And in a matter of time, they've only done more damage to your existing culture and community than they've done any good for it,
So can you talk to me a little bit with regard, so I know when Gary and Austin came to my box, we talked about a lot of the focus was going back to the trainer, but can you shed some light on what focus is going on to the affiliates and maybe some initiatives that are either currently going? Because one of the things people don't know about is things like the APN, like the number of people that don't know about the APN or the Playbook is too many. We'll just say it that way. So trying to solve some of that communication piece and like getting that word out there, be like, hey, there are tools that are available, you're just not aware of them. And then what else maybe might be some things out there that might be coming down the pike that they could be looking forward to.
And to be clear, Gary Gaines.
Yeah, head of gyms, and he owns that vertical for CrossFit.
That's right.
He's global affiliate manager, or
GM of global affiliates.
And Austin Malleolo.
Yeah, North America.
Director of North American affiliates. Yeah, which is a really cool thing because, most people don't realize, like, Gary's a decade-long CrossFitter, diehard,
Based
fully
out of
bodied.
Rochester, New York, is he?
Yeah, like Larchmont.
Yeah.
I can't even say that. Mamaroneck?
Mamaroneck, yeah.
Mamaroneck.
That's
Did
why
I
used
get
to
that right?
wrestle Mamaroneck.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Used to beat up on kids. You know who you're I remember you.
Might have been Gary.
It might have been. Sorry about that, Gary.
Yeah.
Sorry I pinned you back in 1996.
You guys definitely weren't in the same weight class.
No.
He had a growth spurt after high school.
He was in the tall and athletic and confident weight class. You and I were in the Napoleon lack of confidence.
They got rid of our
short
weight
guy
class. That's how bad.
Yeah.
They were like, this
Yeah.
isn't healthy.
Yeah.
Look what we're doing to
He was in the fully grown adult weight
Taking
class.
this very personally.
Yeah. You and I were in pocket-sized weight class. He was in fully grown adult.
Exactly.
And so, what I was saying was a really cool thing is that, he also is an operator by material expertise, right? And then you have Austin, who obviously has been competitive. He's been a competitive, athlete, as well as a very successful affiliate owner on a multi-location level as well as a corporate location level. So we've got this amazing level of experience at the helm of leadership that's helped drive a lot of these products, and then constantly keeping the focus on, are these really impactful to an affiliate owner? So when you say, well, what's behind the curtain is, how do we take all of these talents that we have in our leadership team, right, and not lose focus of, because, you know, sometimes when you start to think too big, these ideas can get really grand, and they might take forever to develop, or they just become too magnified, too glorified, when really it might have been something that was as simple as like, hey, I just needed a checklist, you know, an opening morning checklist. And you're like, oh, you didn't need this like 94-page, you know, PDF e-guide. And so
sometimes I think it's kind of like the joke we give in the technique lecture, which is like about the pull-ups. It's like efficacy and efficiency and safety. And it's just like, well, yes, I could make this pull-up progression that you could get 50 pull-ups unbroken, but it's going to take 10 years. And you're like, not interested in that one. I'm going to quit before then. And it's like, or I could get you 50 pull-ups in 5 days. However, you're going to tear a labrum. And you're like, there's always like one or two takers that'll take the risk. You're like, I'm in, right?
50 pull-ups?
You're like, right. But it's like, it's got to be very challenging trying to strike that balance of like, hey, it needs to be good. It needs to get me there. But we kind of need to have some sort of, you know, expeditious movement
Capacity.
towards the end. Yeah.
that's right. And so, you know, as we go through all these exercises behind the curtain, you also try to build standard personas so we know how to approach them, just like we would ask an affiliate owner to build your target market persona. So we're going through similar exercises. But just like an affiliate owner, your target market persona for an affiliate owner is so vast and broad. There's thousands of variations, right? So how can we impact the most amount of people in the least amount of time to really help solve for these pain points that us as affiliate owners are going through, especially after the last couple of years that we've had with the pandemic.
It's been rough.
So we know that the playbook was really like ground zero. Let's create a base platform of information, systems and practices and protocols and buzzword, right? A collection of sorts. And then from there, we can start to bounce off that platform and say, okay, now let's develop something for the newer affiliate, right? Because they have a set of different pain points. And if we can solve for those early, they'll have different ones as they get to here, which are the better pain points to solve, because at least you have the finances and the resources to solve them. Right? Better to solve them when you're financially fit than when you're in like broke status, right? So how do we do that? Then we say, well, we also need to provide products that give real val props to existing veteran affiliates, right? Like ourselves that have been in. Like what would really move the needle for us? Especially if we're deep in culture, deep in community, like now how do we either make slower transitions, proper price increases, you've got your grandfathered, you've got your crew in the back. We're all dealing with the same thing. You've got your loud minority group of members that move the needle, but the silent majority are really the ones that are paying the bills, but you're driven by them, and right, we're all knowing this. Oh, the one staff member that's been a problem for 2 years, but you're worried if you terminate them, they're going to go across the street and do their own thing, right? And I'm sure whoever's listening is like,
You've done this before.
Is he talking to me right now?
What else?
What do you say to the people that say, hey, JP, this affiliate playbook's good, but there's not enough pictures of Ackerman in it?
Right. We say, you're right.
You're right. Correct.
You're right. You're right. We just couldn't get it through legal, you know? And
I
so
wouldn't sign off on my likeness.
That's right. And so really, that's what it is. How do we create a full stack of products that can now approach those different levels of affiliate ownership? And then you've got your individual that's interested to go from new to existing to veteran to potential multi-location. And how do we solve for that early and often to really give them the value, right? Then you put that aside and say, okay, now we have these summits that we're doing, right? So we've got this really amazing team of U.S. reps and country managers and community managers that are leading these different events that are throughout the U.S., and we're trying to change them up as they rotate around to different affiliate owners, where we get affiliate owners in those local areas that can come in and just talk shop, right? Talk business, talk shop, go over, you know, consistent, congruent pain points that we have solutions for. It also gives us an opportunity in person to educate and inform them and inspire them and entertain them on the products that we have. Right? Because we know at home office that we still can do a better job communicating. Like we're always trying, we're implementing new tech pieces and components so that we can stay in conversation with our affiliate owners. But we know that for years and years and years, there was little to no communication. So now we have to re-educate the community and saying, hey, there is stuff of value coming out and about on a regular.
Mm-hmm.
So stay alert. Check your email. If it's going to spam, figure it out. If you haven't heard from us for a while, it's probably not us anymore. It's something that's happening in the email system. We need to fix it.
Well, there's the Playbook came out. The professional coach emails are out now. The email of the day's out every day. There's a lot of content.
There's
on
an affiliate
.com.
update that goes out not weekly, for sure.
every other week.
It's every other week. It's like
So
bi-weekly. Yeah.
there is so much more than has ever been given to affiliate owners happening right now.
Yeah, and yes. And one thing I can say is if you either are getting the information and think there's things we could be doing better, or you're not getting
You're going
it.
to give out your cell phone number
Yeah.
right now. Call JP. The number.
Actually, you can email me, jp@crossfit.com. It's super easy.
How do you get one of those? How do you get it?
jp@crossfit.com. And if you just email me or at any of these particular emails, it will get circled through and we'll make sure it's updated. So you are getting all of this material. Like you pointed out, the professional coach, like the stuff that's coming out from the EDU department.
Nicole Christensen's heading that up.
I mean, you've got wizards in coaching that are producing material.
Like actual wizards.
Like they're actual
magic-
wizards with
magic,
capes and
yeah.
hats.
That's what the level 4 is. I've been telling you all this time. See?
You know, but it's
get
like
it.
for so many for so long, you know, the Nicoles, the power teams of seminar staff were almost like mythical creatures that you would only see at these L1s and L2s, right? Well, they're actually producing real, new, fresh content that is meant to increase the experience on your floor, because it's not just about, you know, jumping lights and loud music.
Right.
If your coaching is good and you're learning about all these different cues that are helping you educate, especially as an owner, you take this information and then divest it, you know, into your staff, you can become the material expert. So you take what home office and EDU is giving you, you consume it, and then you go deliver it to your staff. You become the messenger of this professional level message, just as in with the Playbook and all these other tools that we're providing and support from companies like yours, where you go and listen, this is all available to you. This is to elevate the quality and the consistency of that experience that you're trying to provide to your members.
Yeah, I think there's been a weird back and forth where in early days it was just like, just open the facility and it'll be fine, you know. And then it was kind of shifted towards, there was a period there where like coaching was what I consider to be a premium, and then the businesses started to suffer, and then they just swung the pendulum all the way back the other direction, and it was just like business. We got to do revenue all day long. And I think as we're kind of shifting back center, I think everybody's starting to realize that you cannot separate the two. You cannot separate the technical expertise of the coach and their ability to walk into a facility, educate, inspire, and entertain. You cannot separate that from running a pragmatic, customer service centric, really good experience business aspect of this. They are one and the same and cannot and should not be separated. And that's what I think a lot of people shifted all the way to the sales and just left the service behind. They're like, oh, I'm not worried about the group class model. It's garbage, whatever that's going to be. And I'm like, no, you can run a fantastic group class. And here's the kicker. People really want good group classes. Like, they are yearning for them. When you walk into one, you're like, this is awesome. This is a really kick-ass environment. The vibe in here is high. I don't like that guy, but the rest of this is cool. But that's what I think people are kind of to recenter on, and it's really cool to see home office like refocus back on the coach, refocus back on the affiliate, because CrossFit and the group model is worth it. I mean, it's priceless. And I don't think enough people realize that.
I think that pendulum is coming from a lot of different directions too. I think different camps or different parts of the affiliate owner community have kind of gone in different directions. Some went really aggressive sales and marketing and ads world and just blowing that side of the business out and neglecting the community, the culture, or the operational side, and just getting, I had no business practices. I've got to get my stuff together and go super hard in the paint on just, it has to be perfect systems and structure, and took all the fun out of it as well.
Right.
And understanding that it's multiple different areas of expertise that all meet in the middle. And in order for it to really sing, it's about trying to keep that balanced, and people just understanding it's like, that's the business owner's journey, is that you recognize a fault or a gap in your skill set or your tools, and you're like, oh, I got to go pursue that. And I think this is a really beautiful time. And you said it's a great time. I think it's the best time to be a CrossFit affiliate, because there are new resources after what we just went through these last couple of years. I think the marketplace also got cleaned out a little bit from some people who really weren't that into it anymore. And I mean, yes, I think there were some really good people that unfortunately, had to fold as well. But the end of the story at the end of the day now is that we have this massive opportunity to rebuild this thing and combine all these resources and all these great minds from independent companies to home office themselves, and just collaborating on providing a very robust set of tools, resources, guidance, and really make this what it could have been all along.
Yeah, and you bring up some good points, and really, CrossFit's now been around long enough where we're just seeing the first cyclical level of evolution of our vertical market. And what I mean by that is so many other industries go through this. Mm-hmm. They launch out, it's new, it's fresh, it's exciting, it explodes, it booms, everybody tracks in. It's kind of like, if you build it, they will come, right? Mm-hmm. When we all opened 10, 12 years ago, even 6, 7 years ago, you could open the doors, everybody would roll in, and it didn't matter if you had the systems and ops down. If you had that quality, high level of technical experience on the floor, you would build and grow.
That's right.
Right? And then we went in where it was like, okay, now it's a highly competitive market, not just in CrossFit, but with these new group fitness classes that were coming in. So everybody starts getting distracted. What are they doing? What are these competitive concepts are doing? They've got louder coaches and microphones and music. And so then they swing way too far out onto that, in the pendulum onto the outside of that. And then we start to realize there's actually a happy balance of integrating these bits and pieces, because to assume we know it all from start would be like the single ingredient to your future demise. Right. But to say, hey, we know enough for this and to build the success on this, and then as these other things go in, we just take a little bit of the best, a little bit of the best. And then sometimes you try it, you don't let it, completely distract you from your core competency and what you're good at. And then you figure out what works, and it might work for you, might not work for me. Maybe your area, your location's better on mic, it's better with louder music, mine isn't, that type of thing. And you start to find back that balance. And like you said, it does work. And in that cyclical roller coaster, as long as you don't get so far off the mat that the climb back or the fall down is so aggressive that you can't recover from it.
Right.
I want to talk about that. We're going to take a quick break real quick and we'll come back. But I do want to talk about that specific point because that's something very, very important that I think a lot of people have concerns about.
Oh, yeah. Didn't want to do it. Did it. Glad I did it.
We are here at On The End CrossFit in Nashville, Tennessee, wrapping up a great trip here. My buddy Chuck Rock recommended this place, and we are super excited to check it out.
Season 4 of Dropping In kicks off this Friday. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming content.
All right, so we're back. So on that point, JP, what's important about this whole discussion is CrossFit specifically, CrossFit home offices, their refocus on going back to what we all know and love as CrossFit, kind of like not leaving the past behind. And that is a concerted effort inside the machine to say, hey, we're not going to leave who we are and what we were behind. Like, we're going to bring that with us. We're just going to polish it a little bit. And I think there was a lot of concern about that. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, and I'll just to stay authentic, I'll speak to only what I know and maybe not what I think I know or have heard, right? Because I'm in the affiliate community just like anyone else. Right. And I'll use real life examples from my affiliate in Los Angeles. And that is, we found ourselves, and probably much like home offices, as the transitions were occurring, our own transitions and the pandemic transitions, that there was a lot of distractions, right? And everybody's heart's in the right place. Me as an owner in LA, my general manager's there, my staff, just like at home office, everybody's heart's in the right place, but you start to get really concerned. There's shakeup, there's some leadership changes, things go on. You go, well, there's a lot of people that are upset, or they're upset and it's really not even impacting them, but they're just upset. And so then you get concerned, right? It's like fear, false emotions appearing real. You're like, oh my God, everything's gonna be turned up on its head.
I see what you did there.
You see that?
It was good.
Thank you. And so
I'll fill you in later, friend.
and so just like home office kind of has to get hip checked, and remember, like, wait a minute, we all know where we came from. We know what our intentions are. We know what we're trying to achieve here. As long as we stay focused on that, we can all look ourselves in the mirror and we feel like, when you look at the people that are involved in the gyms team, from top down, and you look at like EDU top down and look at sport, top down, you're like, this is no different than it was 12 years ago. This is core CrossFitting. Like, you can look around the room and it's still there. It's just, it's almost like the perception of what changed on the external made us think different internal, but we're still the same, right? And so I use that same thing for my location in LA, because I thought, man, I was getting so far away from what got me to where I was that I was almost starting to forget who I was. And so we started to make a hard pivot through the end of the pandemic, and then just started getting back to the core roots. CrossFit workouts. CrossFit's our primary product. Getting CrossFit brand regularly on our marketing materials and on our t-shirts, because that truly is what separates us from those around us. It's the methodology, it's the brand, it's the concept, And I'm in the Facebook groups, I'm in the forums, I'm an affiliate owner.
You should get out of those.
Yeah, I know. So it's like, when I put that hat on, it's I can devil's advocate all that stuff, but at the end of the day, the success of that location is on me. And if I can preach the gospel of the methodology of CrossFit and utilize the tools that the teams have assembled together, I know, based on what you were saying, is like, you will succeed more often than not when you follow these protocols. Yes. We will get back to it. And I am the proof. I am the testimonial of that, of seeing what was a successful gym get brutalized in one of the worst areas of the pandemic for closure, coming out of it, being a little bit lost, getting back on track, and now seeing that consistent growth because we're focused on our identity of being Brick CrossFit in LA and focused on delivering the methodology, the concepts, and following the tools that are in the playbook.
And I want to just say, I love hearing that pivot, and let me guess, it's working.
Yeah.
Right? And we're seeing that with all the affiliates.
Month over month again.
Right. It's because I think there's several factors. And I think, for one, a lot of people were deprived from community and contact and the social piece, which, let's face it, no fitness model does that better than a CrossFit affiliate. Like, it is the most fun place to go and work out, period, right? But amongst all of our clients, everyone, the more they're bringing it back to these like core fundamentals, guess what? It all starts working again. And it's such a beautiful thing to see everyone, like, it coming back to life. And it's because it was always the same thing. It's just everyone, like you said, we get distracted, and it's because it was new. And it's like, well, maybe this is the way things are going to go, and that's the direction it's going to go. Right. That's okay. That's the natural evolution.
That's right. It's totally
but now
okay.
We've gone full circle.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing to recognize, and I know a lot of people who follow the show might be feeling a bit lost and like, well, where do I go and what do I do? And it's like, get back to the fundamentals of what made this thing work in the beginning. And I think that what you guys are doing at home office is a reflection of the same thing, because it's about the affiliates. That's what made it work in the first place.
And I do want to say this. I'm not dumb to the thought that there wasn't this idea that it was going corporate. Right? We've all heard that.
That was definitely the sentiment. I mean, I'll be very candid.
And what I can say is, as somebody who had a heavy hand in the playbook, is it wasn't about going corporate. It was, how do we operationalize and systemize the things that are working successfully for core CrossFit gyms globally? That's not becoming corporate. That's corporate trying to help you survive.
Well, I think I don't think people have a problem with going corporate, right? I mean, like, to some degree, that insinuates it's going to get better. I think so.
I think that maybe corporate wasn't the term, as like,
no, you're right. It was corporate. That was the
big
sentiment.
Business, franchise.
It's no longer guerrilla.
It's no longer.
Yeah, right.
I feel like in that that idea of it's going to go corporate, the idea was like, we're leaving this thing behind. Like, what we were doing, we're not doing anymore. We're going to change it. It's going to be better. It's going to be more sexy. It's going to be all these other things. And it's like, no, we can take, as you were mentioning, we're going to take the good aspects of the corporate world, things that are more organized, more systems, creating projections, like having goals. And then we're going to lay it on top of this thing that we already know is really awesome. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's the perfect scenario. That's exactly what you would want. We just have to be cognizant of like not removing the culture and the vibe from CrossFit, because that is the secret sauce. You just have to layer a little bit more strategy on top of it, and then it's game over.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's a great way of saying it. And so, to kind of like finish off that long-winded point is really to recognize that everything we're doing is in attempts to provide value to the affiliates, right? And going back to what you said, is that it's a longer game. It's the long game plan. Is that sometimes when you only get like the appetizers of the menu, you want to judge what the rest of the menu is going to look like, right? And we're just saying, wait till you see the whole menu. Enjoy this portion, which is what we've been able to provide, but be patient for everything else that we're trying to work on so that we can deliver it. And there was something you said that I wanted to bring up, which is that if you get away from the core competency of good quality classes, but how they tie into good quality front desk management and general systems and operations, it's much like a lot of the studies they did back in the day on like restaurants, you know, and in non-competitive areas for eateries, they found that if you had like really amazing food, you could have bad service and you get recurring customers. Or they found that if you had like really good service but mediocre food, as long as it wasn't overpriced, you'd get recurring customers, right? Well, the thing is that we're trying to achieve like the mecca of it all, which is really great quality service and really great quality food. Right. And the beauty is between the playbook and all the systems and tools that we provide and the methodology of CrossFit and the tools that EDU provides, that's the support to get those two important components to make that winning equation work, which is having the best quality product on the floor and having your great quality level of service.
I'll ask you a question as an affiliate owner, so not in your role as for home office. What is the sentiment, or why do you think this idea persists that the group model is dead and doesn't work anymore?
So I'll quick answer that.
Okay.
Because obviously I
don't think it's a long answer, but I just want to hear what you have to say.
I think it's the easiest place for competitors to go to try to separate themselves when they're actually trying to monetize themselves to make money off of the work the CrossFit community has done over the last 15 years. So it's the easiest thing to do, right? You need to become the villain. What do they call it in a movie? You have to be the
antagonist.
The antagonist, yep. Right? So how to separate yourself, because you can't have like 25 superheroes in the same Justice League.
We got 4 right here. It works fine.
Yeah, well, we're like the Fantastic Four.
Ooh,
nice. Yeah. I mean, listen,
better looking.
Is there a female?
By the way, your city's in trouble if this is what you're waiting on.
We're not sure what we're going to save.
We're not the heroes they want. We're the heroes you need.
We're not sure what we're going to save.
Want a great workout? Come on down.
Yeah.
But and I've said this a few times on the show. I believe those same villains or antagonists are preying on the weak. In other words, if I show up at Brick and this place is just busy and fun, I'm not going to tell you the group model is not working. But if I find your affiliate and there's only a couple people on the floor and you're tired and you're doing all the coaching, I might be like, come to this side.
Right.
Come over here. And
Clearly
it's
not working, right?
Right. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, this isn't for you. Why don't you try this thing over here? And it's like,
Yeah, you don't have to totally change that
right.
yet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's it.
That's how it
Exactly.
works.
And it's like, it's, I think I would equate it with almost bullying. It's like, hey, you're weak and beaten
It's
down.
emotionally bullying.
Right. So I'm gonna
emotional
help
bullying.
you. But I'm truly
Right.
I'm serving my own agenda.
Right. So at that point, you are not I'll say this. You're not necessarily a consultant or a mentor or a coach, right? You're just a marketing company. So you're looking for marketing triggers to generate an emotion to get someone to try your
Who's
product.
already struggling?
Who's already
Because it's
struggling.
easier to pick up on than the successful. Like the successful person's like, I don't need
Right. And so I was in the martial arts industry for many years prior to getting
that. You're
into this.
fighting Fern after this show.
Right
correct?
after.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get that named.
And so whatever the fans want.
Just tap.
And so I was a multi-location owner of commercialized martial arts locations before I got into the CrossFit
Rex
space.
Kwando, that was your place.
That's right. I was Rex.
I have those pants.
Do you think anybody thinks I'm a failure because I go home to Starlight at night? Forget about it.
I still have them. And so the thing was we had the same thing in that particular industry. When when what you were doing became stagnant, which wasn't what you were doing, it was your perception of what you were doing because you became bored or tired or of whatever reason weren't doing the work necessary. You started to look for the easier answer. What's the new shiny sparkly thing? How can I bedazzle what I'm not doing well to make it look like I'm doing well
Better
again.
yet, how do I avoid doing the thing I'm not doing well?
That's right. And then what happens is by time you've stacked so much bedazzle on it, you've got your full Ed Hardy outfit with
Is
all
there
the
such
gems.
a thing as too much bedazzle? Let's
Not
be
really.
honest. Let's be honest.
Not if we're talking about Ed Hardy, no.
No, right? And so that's what ends up happening. And so in my opinion, I feel like as we see in many other industries, you're going to end up getting the same thing, right? Just like if the housing market starts to get, infiltrated with agents and everything else, there's going to be that one person's like, okay, I'm not getting as many listings or as many buyers, so now let me create the product to tell people how they can get more listings and buyers. So now you're actually making your money on telling people how to do the thing you couldn't do anymore.
Well, that's part of it too. These same people that are bullying are most often failed owners. There's no one coming in that's like, try this thing, because I was so successful myself. It's like, let me pull you away from this thing that I wasn't good at either.
Sounds like a good deal.
Hey,
Sign up for that.
Sign up for that.
Yeah, and so our goal, and just to kind of rein this back in now, is with a home office hat, is to recognize the challenges affiliate owners are seeing, not just in their own affiliate, but just in the general marketplace, and to be sure that we can be the ones, the material experts, right? Because we are the ones they should be leaning on and they should trust, and be able to provide them the resources, the tools, the team, the support, the ears, from the round tables to the APN for discount products. Like, let's just get at them before an outside party who's just going to try to leverage that relationship can get to it and say, no, these all have the right intent. You can trust. There's no ulterior motive.
Yeah, I
here.
bring that up not to bring up a controversial topic, but to acknowledge that is a thing. Like, that is happening, meaning like people are feeling that way and they're struggling. And what I want the message to be is, hey, what you're doing still works. It's not broken. There are some things that are broken, but it's not CrossFit. It's not the group model. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater here. You're conflating other broken things with this model, and this methodology doesn't work, and it's simply not true. We've seen it work far too many times. We've seen it work to, just great success, and that's where I want people to kind of like pause for a second and think about that and be like, what do I actually need to work on here? And it's not throw this model out and come up with a new methodology and start doing all these things. It's like hone in on, figure what are the other contributing factors in this problem that are creating this problem that I may or may not even be aware of. And how do I start to fix that? Because once you fix those things, this stuff just starts to take off. That the CrossFit model, the group model, is just waiting to be fed. Right? It's just there waiting for you. It works even if you're not that great of a coach. We talk about this all the time. Even if you were just really mediocre, it works. We've all seen it. We've all done it. How do I create all the other things around that would allow me to really utilize this CrossFit group model? And that's what I want people to really take pause on. It's like, it's not your marketing campaign. It's not any of that stuff. It's not you need to do more PT. But if you want to do those things, that's fine. And I think if you learn to do them really, really well as bolt-ons to this group thing, now you're talking about a really successful model that creates lots of opportunity, that impacts the community, that impacts your employees, all of that stuff. But it's all based and centered around that CrossFit class, and that's how it should be done.
That's right. That's right. And just to add on to that is, if you found yourself in a position where maybe you were seeing great success and then you found yourself in a bit of a plateau, is before you start like pointing fingers, is just to take a step back and say, okay, what were truly the key indicators of things I was doing that worked in the early days? Let's not say it's the market that changed. Let's not say that it's competition, because those are easy, right? We can always try to lean on that.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
And maybe some of that stuff is legitimate, but there's always a way to navigate around it. To say, okay, wait a minute. Let me get back to the core. What was my key component that separated me? My core competency as a CrossFit affiliate that was different than everything that was around the area. Get back into training my staff, get back into whatever it might be. Where was I complacent? Maybe I need to get back on the floor and start coaching classes again, just to kind of re-up the energy and get back into the mix. Like, and then what happens is you start to find like, oh, these are all the areas that I can start to move these pieces around, and now I can rebuild it in today's marketplace. And that won't last forever, because even the greatest companies that have been around the longest have had moments of pivoting in certain areas, but they stayed to what their core competency was. But maybe how they execute, how they implement, how they market might be a little bit different.
One of the things we drill home with the affiliate owners that we work with is that it's about learning a process. And it's anywhere from like a 6-month to a 1-year process, depending on your resources and capacity and all that. But basically, it's a process of going through the whole business, all those fundamental principles we talked about. And you start at the beginning of this process and you work your way through and you update, you upgrade, and you tweak based on what's happening for you now. Because not only does the marketplace possibly change, it's also your desires. What does success mean to you now versus, now that you're maybe married with kids versus when you were single when you first started? Success could mean something totally different. My time is now different. Maybe I love coaching. I have to spend my time a little bit more wisely. Either way, to go through this process, and it's not like, oh, good, I fixed my business. It's like, no, this is a practice. You literally get to the end and you come back to the beginning and you just keep cycling through this process because these different things are going to get a little bit better here. Maybe this one was super deficient. This one was pretty good. And you're going to keep refining because then you will not ever truly stagnate because you will evolve as everything else continues to evolve and you can keep moving forward. I think what a lot of people have done in the past is that they maybe did a little bit of that, or maybe they worked with a coach for a while, they saw some improvement, or maybe they didn't work with anybody, they wrote a book, whatever, make some progress, and they think like, oh, good, I learned about business, I'm good, I'm done, and they move on. And it's like, if you've been in business long enough, you recognize it's not about learning the tricks, it's about learning a practice, and about going through this practice over and over and over again, and just getting better at the game.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, that would be the business mindset of an entrepreneur. Is like the same idea. When you become obsessed and in love with the process of being a better business owner, you will be an effective entrepreneur.
Right.
Not just like Shark Tank, they say you're a wantrepreneur. Like you just want the idea to say that you own a business. Well, as an effective and a successful affiliate owner is that you become obsessed with the process, which like if we were to try to tie this all back into how this opened is kind of like how I said, when the affiliate owner starts to take the same level of seriousness and drive and dedication to utilizing all the tools at home office and all of the other people that are related to the ecosystem of CrossFit are providing, and become just as obsessed with educating themselves on those and implementing and executing as they would getting in their mobility before class or their pre-workout or putting on their knee sleeves or bringing 6 pairs of shoes to the workout because it might have rope climbs and Oli that day and they have to have all their gear.
Not everybody can rock Toms.
Not everybody can rock Toms 365, you know what I mean? And so when you get that same level, it's like, listen, you were a great member. That's probably why you fell in love with it. You fell in love with CrossFit because you were a great student of the methodology. Then you went and you took your L1. Then you were so inclined to want to impact your local community and create your own culture. You went and did everything it took. You somehow acquired, borrowed, utilized, had your own savings to spend the money, to find the location, to do all these things before there were even the resources that we now have to help you do that. So if you're an existing veteran affiliate, like you already are like 99% ahead of the game because you already did it. Right. So now let's get back to that same level of obsessiveness and dedication, and let's just hone back the distraction of all the other bright lights and razzle dazzle that's around you, and let's focus on getting back to the core roots of what got not just the methodology or the CrossFit brand to be one of the largest fitness brands in the world. Right? But what can we do to get back to the success in our own affiliate to preach what we have to offer in our 4 walls Monday through Saturday or Sunday, whatever your hours of operation are.
And now you actually get to build the business you set out to build in the first place.
That's right. Yep.
Before we wrap up, Fern, let's give a little shout out. Hillary, thank you very much for letting us.
Thank you for giving us the space.
This is JP's home box on the end CrossFit here in Nashville,
That's right.
Tennessee. So we appreciate that. And we appreciate you coming on the show and doing all you're doing for the affiliate world.
Yeah. Last thing, JP, anything you want to tell affiliate owners at the close of this?
Just continue to be patient. Keep your eyes and ears open. Tell another affiliate owner that there is resources, there's support, whether it's personal and emotional support. We have the affiliate roundtables. Whether they're looking for proper partners for discounts to purchase more for their gyms, we have the APN. If they're looking to ease time on the level of programming, we have the CAP that's available to them that's, programmed by games veterans and some of the highest level seminar staff that we have. We've got the Playbook that's already out and about. They can look forward to a bunch more business tools that'll be launching. We've got version 2 of the Playbook that's going to launch just before the games.
Sweet.
It's already in Portuguese. We're going to be launching, I think, 6 or 7 new languages by the games. So if any other countries or languages are out there excited,
Hebrew.
yeah.
Are you really?
I believe so. Just keep it out.
Just made that up.
Israel. Shabbat. Shalom.
And so and then here's what I'd say is don't be quiet. Don't be quiet. If there's something you think we can be doing better,
Text you directly.
text me directly. If there's a way you think we could be doing it better, to better communicate, you are the ones we need to hear from because you are the ones we're helping.
Right.
So don't be mad at it, right? Be a part of the solution, not the problem. Yeah. JP at CrossFit.com. And not only do I promise that we will hear you, I promise that I will be responding to you, letting you know we've heard you, and potentially be following up directly when that solution of some sort is available, if it's reasonable that we can create.
And that's something we've not heard before, so that's great news. If you guys have questions, hit us up, hit JP up. Lots of good stuff coming down the pike. But again,
hey, thank you guys for having me, man. I
Thanks
really
for being on.
appreciate it.
good time to be a
Good
CrossFit
time.
affiliate owner. Sweet.
It is. It is. Best time.
Thanks for listening to this episode, and we want to thank our partner and sponsor, O2. If you're an affiliate owner and have questions about carrying O2 in your facility or interested in a free refrigerator, go to wholesale.drinko2.com/pages/best-hour-offer for more details. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.